In this video, you'll learn about rational functions, where you'll learn about vertical asymptotes and horizontal asymptotes in part 1. And in part 2, you will graph rational functions and find oblique asymptotes. So when we talk about a rational functions are going to have more than one part. So we might have a function, for example, that looks like this, that has two vertical asymptotes, for example, and the function itself has one part in each region, like this. So this would be one example. Another example would be these two down here, which we've already worked with, the reciprocal function 1 over x and the reciprocals of the square 1 over x squared. These are both rational functions. Several things become apparent when we examine these two graphs. For example, on the left branch of the graph, f of x equals 1 over x, the curve approaches the x-axis as x goes to negative infinity. So here's our x-axis here, and as we go to negative infinity, this part of the graph approaches 0. We also notice as x approaches 0 on both the right and the left branches, the graph approaches negative infinity and also positive infinity. So here's our asymptote here. And then for the right-hand branch, as we approach infinity, the function approaches 0. So we see that as well. Also, on the right branch, to summarize, we use arrow notation to show what is happening as x approaches a particular value, or positive or negative infinity. We show what the function value is approaching. We can also talk about approaching from the right or from the left, as in these examples here. So as we approach a with a negative sign means we're approaching from the left, and a plus means we're approaching a from the right. I do have a little bit of a extra in here, don't I? Okay. And we have already talked about saying as x goes to infinity or negative infinity, and what our function value can approach as well. So how would we describe that first function? Well, we would say as x approaches negative infinity, the function approaches 0. We also know that as x approaches infinity, the function value approaches 0. And then we talked about what happens when x gets closer to 0, and we could approach 0 from the positive or from the negative. So just looking at this graph again, as we approach 0 from the positive side, so in this direction, our function values are growing without bound, and so we'll say f of x goes to infinity. If we approach 0 from the left, our function values are getting smaller and smaller, so our function values are approaching negative infinity. So let's look at the next graph, f of x equals 1 over x squared, and see how we would describe this using arrow notation. So as we approach 0 from the negative side, so with our x's, we're approaching from the negative side, we notice that our function is growing without bound. As we approach from the left-hand side, we also notice that our function values are growing without bound. what do we have when x is going to infinity? Well, as x values get larger and larger and larger, you notice that your function values kind of bottom out here at 0. And that is true on the other side. As we approach negative infinity, it's also going to 0. Let's do that one more time. Pause your video and see if you can answer these questions, and I'll write down the answers and you can check yourself. So you'll notice that red dashed line, that's a vertical asymptote. As we approach that from the right, we go to infinity. From the left, we go to negative infinity. And as x goes to infinity or negative infinity, they both go to 4. So keeping in mind that a rational function is just a fractional function, where the numerator and the denominator are polynomials, we only have to be careful about what's in the denominator. So we have to make sure that we're aware of the domain. So as we discussed previously, we need to exclude values from the domain that will cause the denominator to be 0. So let's find the domain of the following functions. So for f of x, we know that x minus 5 cannot be 0, so x cannot be 5. So we might say negative infinity to 5, union 5 to infinity. For g of x, we know x cannot be 0, so negative infinity to 0, union 0 to infinity is our domain. For h of x, we notice that this denominator can factor as x minus 3 and x plus 3, so we know that x cannot be 3 or negative 3. So we're going to say negative infinity to negative 3, union negative 3 to 3, union 3 to infinity. We're just skipping over those two values we're not allowed to have. And lastly, w of x, we notice that this can factor as x minus 5 and x minus 4. So we know that x cannot be 5 or 4. And our domain would be negative infinity to 4, union 4 to 5, union 5 to infinity. So remember, for each of these, it has nothing at all to do with the numerator. We're not concerned about that at all. We're only concerned about values that are going to make the denominator 0. And that leads us to vertical asymptotes. If we have a rational function that is reduced, in other words, there's no common factors other than constants, if the number a is a 0 of the denominator, then x equals a is a vertical asymptote. So these are like invisible fences that we're going to have on our graph that the function will not cross. So it'll come close to the fence but not ever touch the fence. It's kind of like when your dog runs towards the fence and then immediately kind of turns and will run along the fence. So this is very similar to finding the domain. So for this first example, if we wanted to know where are these fences, we look at our denominator, which does factor, and we say x cannot be 3 and x cannot be 4, because those are the values that are going to cause the denominator to be 0. So our fences, which are our vertical asymptotes, are going to be at x equals 3 and x equals 4. And keep in mind that an asymptote is an equation So if you're asked for vertical asymptotes, you can't just say 3. You have to say x equals 3. Okay? So often we also have horizontal asymptotes. These are slightly different from vertical asymptotes because we're going to get closer and closer to it eventually, but it might cross the asymptote at some point. So a graph that might have that might look like the following. So let's say we had a horizontal asymptote here, and we might have a function that maybe goes like this on the one side and maybe goes like this on the second side. So it's going to cross the horizontal asymptote, but eventually as x gets arbitrarily large, it's going to get closer and closer to that dotted line. So let's take a look at how we find horizontal asymptotes and how we know if it's going to cross. So in general, a horizontal asymptote is going to have the form y equals b if either or both are true. The function value approaches b as x gets arbitrarily large or arbitrarily small. So we already showed that in that previous graph, but let me draw another. So we're saying we have some horizontal asymptote, and we know that our graph is going to approach that either from the right or from the bottom or from the top. It could cross it, yet it doesn't have to. So how are we going to find that? Well, we're basically going to compare the degree of the numerator and the degree of the denominator. And so in order to talk about those, I'm going to call d sub n the degree of the numerator and d sub d the degree of the denominator. And remember when we talked about polynomial functions, the degree is the highest exponent. So what we need to do is compare the degree of the numerator and the degree of the denominator. So if the degree of the numerator is smaller than the degree of the denominator, then we say that the horizontal asymptote is at y equals 0. If the degree of the numerator is bigger than the degree of the denominator, I call that being top-heavy, then there is no horizontal asymptote. And if the degrees are the same, then the horizontal asymptote is found by taking the ratio of the lead coefficients. Don't know how that got cut off. Okay, so let's look at this first one. We notice that in this particular case, the degree of the numerator is 2 and the degree of the denominator is 1. It therefore is top-heavy and there is no horizontal asymptote. In this particular one, the degree of the numerator is 1, the degree of the denominator is 2, and so it's bottom heavy, it's going to be at y equals 0. For this last example, we notice that the degree of the numerator is 2, and the degree of the denominator is also 2, so we take the ratio of the lead coefficients and we get a horizontal asymptote of y equals 3/5. So how do we know if a graph is going to cross the horizontal asymptote? In that case, we set the function equal to the horizontal asymptote and see what happens. So let's take a look at this first example, or this second one here, G, and say, well, if I have a horizontal asymptote of 0, does my function ever equal 0? So I'll set it equal to 0. And in this particular case, I'm going to make it 0 over 1 so I can just cross multiply. And I get 12 plus x equals 0. So x equals negative 12. So yes, in fact, this does cross. If x is negative 12, then the y value will be 0, and that's where it's going to cross. So that was for function g above. If we take a look at h of x, we want to know is 3x squared minus 4x plus 5 over 5x squared minus 4x plus 6 ever equal to 3/5. And again, we will cross multiply. That will give us 15x squared minus 20x plus 25 equals 15x squared minus 12x plus 18. In this particular case, if we subtract, our squared terms go away. And if we collect x values, I'm going to add 12x. So that will give me minus 8x. And I will subtract 25. And I'll get negative 7. And we get that x is 7/8. So 7/8, comma, 3/5, because we're saying at x equals 7/8, it will equal the horizontal asymptote of 3/5. It can happen, and often does, that when you have a function, let's make up another one. Here we have a rational function, x plus 2 over x minus 1, and we notice that our horizontal asymptote, because the degree of the numerator is 1 and the degree of the denominator is 1, we take the ratio of those lead coefficients, 1 over 1, and we get 1. I want to know if it's going to cross the asymptote. So I like to think of it as setting it equal to the horizontal asymptote and cross multiplying, and that will give me x plus 2 equals x minus 1, or 2 is equal to negative 1, which of course it is not. So in this case, it does not cross. That concludes this video on vertical and horizontal asymptotes. In part 2, we'll put this together and we will graph rational functions, and we will look at some with oblique asymptotes.